Hello, my dear students. Welcome to your YouTube channel SST June. Students, today we will continue our second chapter history with our new topics. So let's start our new topic, a closer look, the Cholas. Students, already you have studied about the Cholas in your 6th class. So here, little bit information I am giving to you about the Cholas. The Chola dynasty was a Tamil dynasty of southern India, as you can see in the given map. One of the longest ruling dynasties in the world's history. The earliest database references to the Cholas are in inscription from the 3rd century. Students, earlier the Cholas dynasty was not that much powerful. The Chola dynasty was in power from the later half of the 9th century, right? So, it was at its peak during the medieval period. Vijayalaya and ancient, chiefly families of the Cholas, captured the Kaveri Delta from the Muttarayars. They built a temple devoted to goddess Nishumbu Sundari at Tanjore and made it his capital. Then, in 985, Raja first came to power and expanded the empire even more. He defeated the Cheras to acquire the Malwar coast, Madurai, and other territories in the southeast. Raja I and his son Rajendra I succeeded in making the Chola dynasty a military, economic, and cultural power in Asia. Both of them together continued to expand the kingdom by riding the Ganga Valley. And even they developed a navy for these expansions. Anyways, have you become to know about any empire or dynasty? I think so, through their inscriptions or their buildings and sculptures. That was the time to build some temples and sculpture. Even they have written some inscriptions as well. The big temples of Tanjore and Golconda, Cholapuram, built by Rajaraja and Rajendra, are architectural and sculpture marvels. We can see the bronze statues and temples of Chola Empire bear testimonies to its art and architecture. The temples that time were built not only as place of worship but also as centers of learning and economic, social and cultural activities. Amongst the crafts associated with temples, the making of bronze images was the most distinctive. Chola bronze images are considered amongst the finest in the world. While most images were of deities, sometimes images were made of devotees as well. Students, as you know, the agriculture and the irrigation is the main source of economy of our Indian history. So that time also the agriculture was the main source of revenue. It was supported by well developed irrigation facilities like wells, canals and water tanks. For large scale agricultural production, people started clearing forest and embankments were constructed to control floods. In many cases, it was necessary to water crops artificially. A variety of methods were used for irrigation. In some areas, wells were dug. In other places, huge tanks were constructed to collect rainwater. As we know, rainwater harvesting. Remember that irrigation works require planning. Here we can say to develop their agricultural system, the Cholas developed their irrigation system. As we know, the Cholas empire was spread over all the southern part of India. So how they were administrating their empire? So let's see. Students, the Chola kings followed a highly efficient system of administration. In this system, the king was the head of the administration, with a council of ministers to advise him. The empire was divided into several mandalam or provinces. These were further divided into Velanadus and Nadus. The Cholas were following the local administration, including temples, gardens, irrigations, assessments of land revenue, maintenance of law and orders. Revenue from land and taxes from trade were the chief sources of income for the Cholas. Land revenue was usually fixed at one third of the product. It could be reduced in time of floods or famines. The kings carried out regular surveys of the land under their control to assess its yield. If we will talk about the society of Cholas, the king and the member of the royal family occupied the highest positions in the society. They lived in the palace buildings and led a luxurious life. The Brahmins and the merchants also held a highly respected position in the society. Even some Brahmins were allotted tax free land. The women had a respectful position in the society. They were imparted highly position. No one dynasty can complete without its architect. So here we can say the architecture of the Cholas. The Cholas, being great patrons of arts and architecture, made significant contribution in these fields. The whole area of these temples is surrounded by a high and decorated boundary wall called Gopuram. The temples are beautifully carved and decorated with the images and paintings of gods and goddesses. If we will talk about the inscriptions of Cholas, the inscriptions found in the pillars of a Shiva temple of Chola period, the inscriptions are a little bit similar as the Prashastis. But these inscriptions constitute valuable historical evidence and they should be protected because the inscriptions are the main source of our history. So, students, here are few keywords to you which you have to do in your history notebook. So, first one is Samanta. Samanta was a title and position used by the Indian nobility. The second is temple. The meaning of temple is a temple is a building reserved for religious or spiritual rituals and activities such as prayer. The third keyword is sabha. The meaning of sabha is a public meeting or gathering. And the fourth is dynasty. A dynasty is a series of leaders in the same family. So student, here the chapter is complete. You have to do your work in your notebooks and we will back soon with some new videos. So till then, stay home and be safe.